And then we were in I don't know, Algiers or someplace for a while. I don't know how long, a couple of weeks or maybe more. Then we came in at Oran, not the landing. It was just a conventional coming in, as far as I remember. And then we trucked across a good many miles over to Tunisia, I guess, where the war was going on. I'm real hazy about that. The British, I think of them as being further east, where they were fighting Rommel and that, but others will have a better idea of that. Yeah. Early in Africa, the Germans had very much air superiority, and they could come over in the daylight, and that was our first exposure. I can remember that we'd be going along and our trucks maybe, and they'd have an air raid come over, and we'd get in the ditches, and we would fire at them with our rifle. I think they told us to, my recollection, that they told us to shoot at them. Maybe they thought that'd make us happy, but we soon quit that. It didn't bother them. And after, I don't remember the time again, but anyway, one of our most notable experiences was a cactus patch, the shelling that we had in a cactus patch. There's a lot of cactus in Africa, but this was even more notable, about the worst that we were able, as far as being for bivouac. And we had dug foxholes, which we didn't do very often, at least I didn't, but it was sandy soil and it was easy digging. And one fellow I talked to today, he said that their captain told them that we were kind of exposed, and it would be a good idea to dig. So it must have been something like that, because we had foxholes. And a good thing we did, because the shelling was terrific. My recollection is that they were 88s, that they were on tanks across a little valley, and I don't know how far, but you could hear the guns go off, and the shells would be there. Of course, the sound travels so slow, relatively slow. You probably wouldn't hear the gun. I don't know if that's 500 some feet a second, the sound. So I don't know what the speed of them shells are, but they were pretty flat shooting guns. But anyway, the shells kept coming in. Didn't lose many. We didn't lose anybody in A Company. There was a couple in the battalion that were killed. But I feel pretty lucky compared, and the equipment, it wasn't, that would be exposed. Maybe we're lucky if they were 88s instead of bigger guns. I don't know, there wasn't too much equipment damage, and of course they were exposed. After the war, we didn't go to Sicily. I remember being on the coast near the old ancient city, the ruins of Carthage. There was two of us on detached duty, and it was a nice, pleasant couple of months, as I recall, swimming in the Mediterranean, and I don't remember much work. I suppose there was some. And then we went to Italy. We came in at Salerno. I wouldn't say landing, because we didn't make the initial landing. It was my record. I didn't know, but a few days after the landing. So it was peaceful. I don't remember much shelling. And I believe the Italians surrendered while we were going across. The Italian army, they weren't doing it. But I think they had capitulated before we got in there, which I don't think mattered a lot. But so we headed up the boot of Italy, Salerno, a little ways up above Mount Vesuvius, below Naples, and we headed up to Boot, and just very briefly we crossed the Volturno River. Became very notable in our lives as it zigzagged down the Boot. We crossed it several times, and of course it was difficult because the Germans would make that difficult for us, and then of course they were retreating in the mountains and we were advancing in the mountains, and it's such a good place to make the roads difficult, but they could blow up the roads, and where it's difficult to repair. Being an engineer outfit, combat engineer outfit, we had to get our division through whatever it took. A lot of bypasses. We were always looking for bypasses. Of course, the Germans would mine what looked like was going to be a good bypass. Probably the next big one. Now there was a place where we had friendly. Now in this last war they call it friendly fire, but where our planes would make a mistake and bomb the Americans. And one was, I'm pretty sure it was near Venafro, which kind of looked like Casino. They both maybe like on the east side of a mountain, and they bombed that. But I think it happened a few other times. But personally, I was never bombed by our planes. But it can happen, and of course it's still happening in the wars now in Iraq. And Casino was rough. We were there for quite a while. Different outfits tried to take it, different armies.
Well, you were down in the town, weren't you, in the Casino?
Yeah.
Did you help put that stones in that drainage ditch?
No.
You didn't get involved with that.
I remember crossing that drainage ditch a lot, and I remember being in the town, and one time we had a flamethrower, and we didn't use the flamethrowers very much, but we did have a flamethrower with us.
That's when you had you're detached, I think, and attached to the 133rd Infantry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember the squad. They didn't light off, I guess. The tank got close. The German tank got close enough, but it wouldn't light off the way I heard it.
And while we were there, of course, there was a shower unit. The Americans had a tent back a ways, and wait a minute, am I at Casino? Yeah, this was at Casino, and they had showers, and so Johnny Boyd, he was my best friend in the Army. He was from North Carolina. We were in the same platoon, and some more from our platoon, we took a truck back to shower, and we were enjoying that, and a big shell came in and landed right next to the tent. It was a heck of a sound, and shrapnel came through the tent, and of course we partially dressed in a hurry. I don't know why, it was just one, and a lot of the guys took off, and Johnny and I jumped in the truck. I don't know if we drove it up or not. Johnny drove it back, but there was shrapnel, big piece of the shrapnel in the truck, and a lot of dirt. I remember dirt blowing off the hood, and we had the windshield down, and it was, but in a way, not anybody got a scratch that I recall. I don't know whether that was one of the shower. I don't remember whether we get clean clothes. The logistics of all the long time that we were, in the war, the logistics of stuff like that escapes me. But once in a while, there'd be a place where you could shower and get new clothes, clean clothes. But I don't remember